Okay, so here we have course content like what all things and how we are going to do. So first thing is requirement gathering. So we will have one functional design document where we will have all the requirement. We will have API structure and everything. What will be like how many API will be there, how many layers we will have. So like everyone familiar with this API led architecture. Is there anyone who don't know what is API led architecture? Okay, hope everyone know. So like in requirement gathering we will capture everything. So I will provide means I will show you that document in next session. So when we will start our development we will discuss about those document. So in requirement gathering we will have everything as I mentioned, like flow diagram, sequence diagram, then API landscape diagram, then number of API, how many API we will have. For each API we will have detailed description, we will have resource detail, we will have input structure. In input, whenever you develop any API, in input we have header, query parameter, URI parameter and body. So you will get detail of each input. Then we will have output structure. So in response what will be structure of response. Then we will have their underlying data type, like what input and output will have what data type. And then we will have error structure also, like if there will be any failure, so what kind of response we will send, what kind of status code we will send. Everything will be there inside that document. Okay, so what all things will be there: flow diagram, sequence diagram, API landscape diagram and API details, and also error scenario. Okay, so next we will discuss about this project life cycle discussion we will do. So here in project life cycle we will be more focused on this agile methodology. So we will discuss about this agile a bit and then we will go for development. Okay, and I think everyone has good experience in IT, so most of you should be aware of this agile, but still I will discuss a bit. I will discuss about basic of this agile methodology if someone is new in this agile methodology, so you will get some understanding. But again, agile is not part of Mulesoft, it's a common practice for any project development. If anyone want to get very like in-depth knowledge, then you should go with some other like source like YouTube or some blogs you can follow to get in-depth knowledge, but we will discuss about basic. Okay, and then we will discuss about Jira setup and management. Okay, so we will see how to create Jira story and all, how to assign those Jira story to some other person, like if you are Scrum Master or if you are team lead, how you will create a story and how you will assign to someone, how you will give story point, what is story point, then how you will link some other story, how you can provide detail, everything we will see in Jira. So we will create account and we will see everything. Same we will do for Confluence. So okay, let me give high level of Jira at least. So Jira is like ticketing tool where we manage our like tickets for sprints. For example, you are working on agile approach, so your entire development will be divided into multiple sprints, and each sprints will have some interval like 2 week, 3 week, 1 week, like this. And in each sprint you need to define how many story you are going to cover. So to create this story and all, we use this Jira platform. So this Jira ticketing tool we use. So same way we have other ticketing tool also which is very famous like ServiceNow. Then we have Agile, sorry, not Agile, Azure, Azure. I don't know exact name. Means Azure Service also provide this ticketing tool. Okay. Then IBM has the clear case or clear quiz, something is there. So like this we have many software or application where you can create ticket and all, but we are going to use Jira. Okay, and Jira is one of the widely used software in IT industry. Then Confluence. So Confluence is a repository for maintaining all the documents and files. So inside Confluence we will see how to create document and all. So generally like project detail, API detail, everything we use to store inside Confluence. So whenever you will take license of Jira, so at the same time all these are Atlassian products. So Jira, Confluence, these are Atlassian product. You can take license one at a time. Okay, and you can create organization. Inside that organization you can add multiple users. 1 minute. Yeah, fine. Then we will understand Git. So here in this project we are going to use Git repository as a central repository. So hope everyone clear with this, like what is central repository. For example, we have a team of developer. You are going to work on Mulesoft development, so you have team of developer, like 5-6 member are there in your team. So whatever development you are doing, after 10 days maybe some other team member may need your code. So how you will exchange your code? You will not go with pen drive or anything to exchange. So you should maintain your code on some central repository. So whenever you will complete your development, you will commit your code on that central repository, and someone from your team, they can access that code, they can clone that repository in their local system. So for that purpose we are going to use this Git repository. So here we will do Git setup, we will use Git desktop also to clone that repository in local, and we will see how we can create Mulesoft project with the help of Git. Means how we will create Mulesoft repository in Git. We will clone it in local, and then we will clone it, like we will sync with our Mulesoft project in Endpoint Studio. So all the setup we will see. So we have to manage this. We have two way. Either you can use source tree, you can use Git desktop. These two are like external tools to manage this. Other way we have inside Endpoint Studio you have inbuilt Git, okay, or inbuilt SVN we have, that we can use to manage this thing, okay. But I prefer this Git desktop. It's very user friendly. That's why I prefer this Git desktop. So we are going to use Git desktop here. But same thing you can do with other software also. Okay, so next we have Jenkin Pipeline. So as I mentioned, like we are going to use Jenkin for CI/CD pipeline. So here again, I'm not expert in Jenkin, but I will show you one sample example, like how we can use this Jenkin to achieve our CI/CD. Okay, we will do limited functionality only. We will not put everything there. But if you want to get in-depth knowledge, then you can follow some other YouTube video and all. There they will definitely give you in-depth of Jenkin. But here also we are going to use Jenkin. We will write some limited script simply to build and deploy. We are not going to manage artifact and all. Generally in project or organization you need to maintain artifact and all for common repository. That part I'm not familiar. Means I'm not DevOps expert, but whatever I know I will share. Okay, so next, create Rimmel and best practice. As I discussed, like when after this all this setup till Jenkins setup, we will start with Rimmel. So we will develop Rimmel, we will follow all the best practice, and then we will develop our API using Rimmel. Okay, then we will come on Endpoint Studio, we will complete development. We will do different kind of testing, unit testing, integration testing, and unit testing, performance testing. Then we will do code checking using. So we will do code checking and we will run CI/CD. Once we will complete our development, we will commit our code on Git repository. We will clone from local repository to central repository, and then we will run this CI/CD script, Jenkins script, to deploy our code on Cloud Hub. Okay. So once we will complete this, then we will discuss about different deployment model. Okay. So Cloud Hub part I will take you in detail, but other deployment model I will explain you what is on-premise, what is Cloud Hub, what is RTF, and what is hybrid. So we will do discussion of all this deployment model, but we will be more focused on Cloud Hub deployment model. Okay. Okay, let me take better. We can discuss about deployment model here only. Okay, so instead of going for, since at that time we will be involved in this Cloud Hub deployment, so maybe we will not get much chance. So better let's discuss about all this deployment model at the very beginning. Okay. So in Mulesoft we have 4 deployment model. First one is on-premise. Second one is cloud up. Then we have RTF. We have hybrid. Okay. Before going to discuss this thing, you need to understand so in Mulesoft we have 2 plane, control plane and runtime plane. Okay, so control plane we use to manage our API and runtime plane is place where we deploy our API. Okay, in this particular part we deploy our API. This is runtime is where, okay, in Mule we term runtime as a server. Okay, this is our server where we deploy our application, and control plane is place after deployment from where we manage our API. Okay, everyone clear with this? So in on-premise deployment model, this control plane and this runtime plane both will be managed by customer. Mulesoft will just give you on-premise license. You can take their Mule runtime, but you have to manage your control plane and runtime plane. They will not manage. You need to create your own infrastructure. You should have your infrastructure, IT infrastructure team. You should have your server. Your server can be bare metal server or you can purchase from cloud. You can buy some cloud space and you can run your server there. But client has to manage everything, runtime plane and control plane. So for runtime plane you will buy some space on server. You will run your Mule runtime here. For control plane, you can, like in control plane, what all things you need? You need gateway, you need load balancer. Okay, so then you need logging framework where you can put your log and all. So all these things will come. You need monitoring plane where you will monitor your application. So all these things should be inside control plane. So for gateway, you can buy some gateway like Kong gateway from Azure. Then we have this APG gateway. So you can take as per your choice. Then for load balancer, you can buy load balancer from any service provider. Then you need what all things we mentioned? Yeah, logging framework. So you can use Splunk, you can use Kibana, you can use what else are there? Elasticsearch. You can use anything. Again, you need to take separate license and you need to host it on your server. Okay. So same way, you need to manage everything. Means whatever things you need in control plane, you need to manage everything by yourself. And Mulesoft will provide you Mule runtime, and you can.
That was my mistake, Ravi.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. And then this runtime plane you also need to manage by yourself. Mulesoft will provide you only Mule runtime, server and everything you will be purchased by you. Now we'll discuss advantage and disadvantage. For this on-premise deployment model, first we'll let this advantage. It will be security wise, it will be best option. Okay, since you are having your own infrastructure and you are deploying only your application at this place, so definitely whatever, like it will be secured by your network and everything. So no one can easily enter here and they can do any security breach. So they can't do. So security wise, definitely this on-premise deployment model will be one of the best secured place. Okay, like compared to other any deployment model, this one will be more secure. So many clients, mostly banking, insurance, who are more concerned about their data, and few country where like they are more concerned about some data privacy law like UK and few country, they prefer this on-premise deployment model. Costing wise, I'm not 100% sure, but what I heard, on-premise is cheapest one, since they will provide you only runtime. You need to manage your infrastructure and everything. So Mulesoft has to give only runtime, so it will be cheapest. But if it will be cheapest only if you have your infrastructure, your company is very big scale company, you have your infrastructure only already for different server, and you are just including Mulesoft also there, then it's okay. But if you are like a small company or you are startup, it will be very difficult for you to manage your own infrastructure, and you need to manage your own IT team. So that will be very expensive. Like in IT team, you need to hire 2 person. You have to pay them huge amount of money. Then you have to maintain your server and everything, security and everything. That will cost a lot. So for a small organization and startup, it's not a big like good option to go with on-premise. But if they have some, like they are bound to use that one, then definitely they have to use. Like in UK and all, you can't host your like server and all in some other country. It should be hosted within your country, within your geographical region. So in that case, you don't have any option, you have to go with this. But security wise, as I mentioned, this one is best option. Even if many clients like in US, India, like many places, they are using on-premise like banking and this insurance client and all, since they want more security of their data. Okay, cost wise, infrastructure cost will be very high, but license cost will be low, but infrastructure cost will be high. If you are big organization, you have already infrastructure, for you it will not be big impact. But if you are startup and medium size organization, there will be big impact. Okay, now okay, these two are advantage of this. Now disadvantage, as I told, you need to maintain your IT team, you need to maintain your server. That will be very expensive if you are not have already these things set up, then it will be very expensive for you. Okay, anything required, any patching or anything required, so your IT team should be there. You need DevOps team also to do all this setup. Like if you want this uh, logging framework setup, if you want this infrastructure, sorry, not infrastructure, this server setup, then if you want this Kong gateway setup or any gateway setup, in this case you need one DevOps guy also. So there also you need to bear some cost. Okay, so all these things are there. So this like cost wise, infrastructure cost will be high. You will be dependent on too many teams, like you need IT team, you need DevOps team, so that kind of dependency will be there. So these are advantage and disadvantage of this on-premise. Now let's move to Cloud Hub. So in Cloud Hub deployment model, both control plane and runtime plane will be provided by Mulesoft. Okay, so first advantage, you don't need no IT team. DevOps team, it's up to you, like it's not mandatory. Your Mulesoft developer can also do all kind of setup, what all basic setup is required, like load balancer setup, VPC setup, all this thing developer can also do. Mulesoft developer, even I did for a few projects. Okay, this is not very complex thing. It needs almost like 2 to 3 hour effort to do any setup, VPC setup, load balancer setup, or creating server and all. If you have DevOps team, then well and good. If you don't have, you can, Mulesoft developer can do. And Mulesoft has some training program also there. MCPA, Mulesoft Platform Integration Architect one. 3-day training you can do, and one more training are there. If you will do those 2 training, then you will have enough knowledge to do all this setup. Okay, so you can say no DevOps team also.
What was the training, Ravi?
Okay, for this you need to go with two training. One is MCPA Mulesoft Platform Architect training. Another one is uh, Production Ready Dev Practice. Okay, so in this two training you will able to get idea of how to do all these server setup and everything. So these two are like you can say advantage, but disadvantage will be first costly. So licensing cost will be a bit high compared to this on-premise. Okay, and then second, security. Since in this Rtf deployment model, whatever runtime plane is there, so what Mulesoft did, they purchased one big space on Azure cloud. I think they are using AWS cloud. Yeah, they are using AWS cloud. Amazon one is AWS, correct? Yeah. So they purchased big space on AWS cloud, and there they have created multiple workers, like 1,000, 10,000 worker. If you will take license, for example, I am customer, I want to take license, I want to buy 3 vCore, they will give me 3 vCore from here. Other client will come, they will give 3 vCore from here. Other client will come, they will give 3 vCore from here. So you are using shared resource. So here there will be chance of this security breach. Okay, someone can easily enter in your network and they can do some security breach. So since you are using, you are like they are means sharing this space with all the clients, so security wise it's not very secure, but they provide some other license you can take to make your API more secure, to make your workers more secure. So in that case you can take license of VPC and VPN. You can take your dedicated load balancer, that is DLB. So that kind of license you need to take again. Still it will not give you separate like you can say private cloud. They will give you, they will create virtual private cloud for you if you will take license of VPC, but still it will give you some security compared to like without using VPC and without using dedicated load balancer. By default they use shared load balancer. Whatever request will come, that will come from SLB, shared load balancer. But you can take license of dedicated load balancer, so that load balancer will be dedicatedly available for you, and your like server capacity will be good, means it will able to handle more number of requests, and it will share some separate channel to incoming and outgoing of request and response. So here security will be a concern, but some advantage is there. You will get like products, like you will get ready environment. You just need to do some setup and your environment will be ready for deployment. And control plane also will be provided by Mulesoft only. So everything will be ready, like you just need to use that server, and that will be on yearly pay basis. Like you have to charge, they will charge you on yearly basis. Next, Rtf deployment model. So this is advanced version of this cloud hub. So here advantage and disadvantage is same, but it will, here you will get more advantage compared to this, and price will be also high compared to this cloud hub. So why this having more advantage? So it support, this Rtf support inbuilt Docker and Kubernetes. Okay, here load like means if you want to run multiple instance and all, then you need to do it manually. Okay, but here you have Docker and Kubernetes concept, which will help you, like where you need to write very small script and you can automate your like worker and all. For example, you can automate your deployment process. So whenever your worker getting more load, you will create more instance of that particular worker. So Docker and Kubernetes is inbuilt inside this Rtf deployment model. Okay, and costing wise also it will be a bit higher to Cloud Hub deployment model, but other thing will be same, like you will get control plane and management plane both. Inside management plane you will get Docker and Kubernetes inbuilt. So if you want to do clustering and all, it will be very easy in Rtf. And next one is hybrid. So in hybrid deployment model, this control plane, sorry, management, okay, one mistake I did. This is management plane. Actually, this is not control plane. And this is control plane or runtime plane. Both are same, control and runtime plane. So in hybrid, management plane from where you are managing your application, and control or runtime plane where you are deploying your application, both will be separated. So this will be provided by Mulesoft and this will be on-premise. In hybrid, this will be hosted by customer. So customer will create their own infrastructure to run this Mule runtime, and this management plane will be provided by Mulesoft. So this one is hybrid one. So is it clear to everyone? Okay, any doubt you can ask quickly, otherwise I will move for next topic.
Ravi, is hybrid combination of on-premise and cloud?
Yes, that's why name is hybrid. So few things will be provided by Mulesoft, few things will be managed by customer. Okay, now so after deployment we will go for we will deploy on dev environment. Here in IT generally we used to have multiple environment, dev, SIT. So okay, dev environment. So this environment will be used by developer. When we develop our application, we deploy here and we do unit testing here. Then next we have SIT. So in SIT environment, testing, like once you will complete your unit testing, you will complete unit testing and all, then you will deploy on SIT, and generally testing team do their integration testing here. Okay, somewhere like you as a developer need to do SIT also, but mostly testing team will do integration testing here. So once SIT will be completed, your code will be deployed on UAT. So here user or BA people, they will do testing. They will check like whatever requirement they have given, this is meeting their requirement or not, whatever API you develop. And then we have pre-prod. Okay, so in pre-prod, before moving our code, after user acceptance, user accept this, like your code is everything good, before going to prod, we are deploying that code in similar to prod environment. Like this environment will be very similar to production environment, and generally we do here load testing, sanity testing, performance testing. So load testing means how much maximum load your API can take. Performance testing means like how many TPS your API can support. All the API like at means whatever API you have, so how much TPS your API can support. And sanity testing means it will test about security and all, like your API is not breaching any security or anything. So they will do that kind of testing. Okay, so big organization generally prefer all this environment, but again it depends on client to client. Few places you will see only dev, SIT and prod. Few places you will see dev, SIT, UAT and prod. Few places you will see dev, UAT and prod. So that can be different combination based on their budget, project budget. Okay, and mostly big clients, they follow all this environment, since these all are best practice of this project development life cycle. Like there should be all this environment, all this testing are very much important. And for this different testing, we should have different environment. Now you will say like if it is good approach to use like to maintain all this environment, then why we are not maintaining all this environment? Again, costing will be factor here. So how many environment you will use, based on that you need, like your costing will increase in term of infrastructure, in term of license. Okay, next we have like we will create a different environment, and then we will deploy our code on Cloud Hub. So first we will deploy on dev. Once we will complete deployment and testing everything, then we will see how we can promote our environment. So you will see we have some shortcut by which we can promote our environment from dev to prod or dev to SIT. So that shortcut we will see how we can promote our environment. Okay, once we will deploy, we will apply security. So this thing can be on, like ideally this should come before deploying. So policy and security should come before deployment. Okay, and then so at the end, like in last session, we will discuss about like how you will use this project for interview purpose. Definitely here you will have very good learning. Okay, and at the same time you can use this same project for interview also, and this will be complete real-time project, so no one will be able to identify. Okay, fine. So we are done with this part. Anyone